What is up, guys? Welcome back to Rip City Rundown. First podcast post the Dame trade request. Me and West cranked out a video earlier today. You guys didn't see it until 1, but we were recording it around right when it dropped at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Cody actually was still asleep at the time, so you'll finally hear his first thoughts. We probably settled down a little bit. Still not happy, but, I mean, it's a sad day for Portland, and we're going to get into where we're at with this, because I really... Is there a good side to this?
No, there's not a good side to this. Damian Lillard, you were my childhood. You were my 2K team. Had some posters of you on the wall. I made an Instagram account.
You were wearing socks earlier today.
I have socks on right now. Okay. I made an Instagram. I made a Dame fan Instagram account that went about for 2 years. Got 3,000 followers on that.
Posted a lot.
Posted every day about it. And it doesn't even feel real that it's gone at this point. Obviously, wherever Dame goes will be my second favorite NBA team next year and probably years after that, to be honest. Still doesn't feel real, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you guys have heard my thoughts this morning. I've mellowed out a little bit since then, obviously reading a lot of news regarding the trade requests and just what direction the Blazers are heading. I think the silver lining in all of this, well, there are two silver linings, one for Dame and one for us. The one for Dame is he gets to compete for a title. And as an NBA player, I know he keeps using the top 75 phrase, but if you're top 75 in the NBA all time, you got to think at some point in your career you contended for a title. And Dame craves that. He's a competitor. He wants to contend. It's, like I said in the earlier video, it's just disappointing, and it hurts me that my team just couldn't get the job done. The bar was set so low for Dame to want to stay, and we couldn't clear that bar. And quite frankly, we can get into this later. It might have been Joe Cronin's plan all along for this to happen.
Unfortunately, I mean, another silver lining in this, and I think you were going to get at this, is at least the Blazers are finally picking a path.
Correct. That's what I was going to say.
At least as a fan, I know that, look, we're not going to be good the next 2 years, and I have to accept that, but at least we are deciding that. And I'm extremely excited to see Scoot, Shaden. I mean, I hope Anthony stays. I don't want to trade Anthony. I think the reality is we might move on from Nurk. We might move on from Grant, even though we just gave him this contract. We can get into that later in the podcast, but I'm still excited for the Blazers. All these people are saying, like, oh, you guys don't care about the team. No, we care about the team. There's a reason we're saying we'll support Dame still, but we're not just following Dame. This isn't turning into what? Locked On Heat, what you said? But we're still Rip City Rundown. We'll be here.
Yeah,
and the unfortunate thing is we're about to watch us in Summer League, and the Summer League roster is practically our roster minus 4 players probably.
Well, I actually made the observation. I'm a 22-year-old. I made the observation that I would be one of the vets on this Portland squad right now.
Oh my God.
Which is just tough to look at. But when you're rebuilding, look, I don't want to say this was years in the making because we wanted to keep Dame until he didn't want to come and stay anymore. But regardless, the fact that we are choosing a path, there's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be lumps along the way. I think in terms of a rebuild, I think we've accelerated that a little bit. Scoot and Shaden, I was saying Scoot's 00, Shaden 17. As I'm going to say, flight 0017 is cleared for takeoff. The runway has been cleared. Damian Lillard is the air control. Damian Lillard said, Scoot, Shaden, I'm going to give you the keys.
And Scoot Henderson throws a lot of Shaden Sharp. The Blazers cut the lead to 32.
Yeah, actually, that's what's going to happen.
Just for next year, though.
That's for next year. But for next year. It's going to happen. But I actually saw an interesting tweet today. It was, this upcoming season is going to be eerily similar to the 2015 season when LA left and Dame and CJ were the young team, young core. We signed some cheap deals for Aminu and Harkless, and we were not supposed to make the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying we're going to make the playoffs this year. In fact, I think it'd be wise long-term to suck.
Yeah,
probably.
And to tank, because imagine a 2015 team that ended up getting swept by the Warriors was the 8th seed, correct? Yes, because 2016 was the Clippers, which we won due to the injuries to CP3 and Blake Griffin. Regardless, going to the lottery in 2015, you add another piece to the lottery. Who knows where that team would have been? One funny thing, I want to start the podcast with this. when you just think about, since Dame's career, just how many opportunities are like, what if this was a little bit different? What if this went a little bit differently? Where would we be today? You know how there are those videos, the NFL, where it's like, what if the Tuck rule never happened? Where would Tom Brady be?
Well, let's talk about it. What do you think is the biggest what if? Is it LaMarcus staying? Is it Nurk not getting injured? Is it there was another one?
I think it's just having an organization that's competent.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't want to turn this to a rant, but I'm pretty heated right now. You guys seem more mellow. But
I think we already got our heated side out.
Yeah, I want to dig in a little bit. Look, I'm happy. Just I don't want to ignore your guys' question, but for the first part with what you guys said, I'm happy we chose a path. I wasn't all in on Scoot because I want to build around Dame, but now all my chips are in for Scoot. I'm excited to watch him play.
And Scoot's from about 20 minutes from where Cole and I used to live, or we do live currently, but we're both in school, so we're not always there. But
you're not in school.
He's close enough. He is from the Atlanta area. He is, and even from his press conference, which we can also get into a little bit later once we talk about him more specifically, he seems like a humble guy. It's very difficult to, attain what Dame's character was. But regardless, go ahead.
Dude, how do you have a top 75 player of all time? And you can't put one all.
Let's play a game. Let's play a game, okay? Name a random top 25 player that you would think in the league.
Tim Duncan.
In the league currently.
Not all time.
LeBron.
Okay.
Okay, I'll
Wait,
give you one.
LeBron's played with many All-Stars.
I'll give you one. Karl Anthony Towns.
Karl Anthony Towns, okay. Even you can say how bad it is, but he's played with an All-Star, Rudy Gobert, and Anthony Edwards. They at least tried to put a good player around him.
Okay.
I mean,
DeMar DeRozan. Oh wow, DeMar DeRozan's played with plenty of All-Stars.
But here's if I'm Joe Cronin, this is what I'm doing. If I'm Joe Cronin, I get it. You can talk about Joe Cronin, but if I'm Joe Cronin, this is what I'm saying. Man, Cat's getting help in the Timberwolves, but they're just giving 80% of their cap to three centers. That's not going to lead anywhere except for a playoff.
Are you trusting Dame Dolla? Are you trusting Dame Dolla or Big Purr?
It's a great question.
I don't know, dude.
But my point is that
I know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that I think if looking in hindsight, in retrospect, as soon as Joe Cronin took over, this was the path.
Oh, you sure about that?
I am, because Dame wants to win, and what the hell did Neil Olshey leave for Joe Cronin?
Cronin said he was going to win around Dame. He lied twice, 3 times.
You're right. He did lie, and we can get into that, and I'm not defending Joe Cronin in the slightest. I'm just saying that he was put in a awful situation. Did they 100% throw everything out the wall for Dame? I don't think so. I think Joe Cronin is being smart about the future, which, by the way, does not guarantee anything. So that decision that he made today is going to be judged in 5-6 years. So I'm not giving him a pass or getting on him for that. It just sucks that he's the guy that's going to be remembered.
Here's where I'm at with the Neil, with the Cronin, and who should get a majority of the blame. Obviously, Neil was at the helm longer. So Neil should get majority of the blame.
Okay, well,
however, let's not act like I think Joe has had the best assets to.
That's fine, but you said what's the biggest what if? All those what ifs are during Olshey's tenure. Every single one. The only what if from Cronin is what if we didn't draft Scoot and trade.
You have to blame everyone.
You have to blame everyone. But I'm saying
Cody asked this question. Cody asked this question earlier. If Jody Allen, Neil Olshey, and Joe Cronin are in the room, and you're
you have 2 bullets,
and you're taking a piss, where does your piss go? Percentage wise. I think I'm not gonna lie. I'm like 40 to Neil, 40 to Jody, 20 to Joe. I said I'm 50 to Neil, 40 to Jody,
That's an interesting
45 to Jody, and a little splash on Joe.
So just for you guys, so instead of let's put a percentage of the blame on people. We're not talking about taking piss on them
because Joe deserves a little splash.
Okay,
figuratively and literally.
Dude, what is this guy doing?
Because he didn't make one.
When did Joe know though? When did Joe know? Because he's moved.
That's a great point. Because there were reports that said Dame knew that he was requesting a trade on Monday. Now I don't know if that means he told him or not. But why are we signing Jeremy Grant to a 5-year deal? Especially 160. And why are we cutting Trendon Watford?
No one's going to take Jeremy Grant. No one wants to trade for Jeremy Grant's 100.
Sure, you can say great. You can say great
So
vet,
I'm
but
gonna tell you why we're signing Grant. We're signing Grant for 5 years. He wants his money. He got his money. We're willing to pay him for at least for the first few years to be a veteran on the team, to jack up shots, to lead the youngsters. It's the same thing that Grant did in Detroit. He wants the money. He wants to win. And I think in a few years we can deal him. Sure, the contract is going to be an absolute albatross in 3 to 5 years. Secondly, we released/waived Trendon Watford. I think we did it because he was too good. He was winning us too many games.
In 3 to 5 years, how are you trading a 34-year-old Jeremy Grant? Especially on $32 million. It's going to be Tobias Harris contract in a couple years.
It is. Look, I'm not saying that it's the best move of all time. I'm saying that
go sign Robin Lopez then.
Maybe their plan
give him
is
$10 million.
Look. When you're a small market team, you build through the draft. Look at the Nuggets. Jokic draft. MPJ. I vividly remember them drafting Michael Porter Jr. in the back.
Neil O'Shea. Round of applause. Great job building through the draft. Zach Collins. Great pick.
Which, by the way, if Dame goes to the Spurs, he might be in that package.
Yeah, that's not happening.
We can talk about packages later.
Another thing I want to talk about, we kind of touched on it. Jody Allen, I think a lot of the blame should go on her. Because, what the fuck are... sorry. What the fuck are you doing, Jody? You have $20 billion. $20 billion. And you're not willing to go on luxury tax. You look at the last 7 NBA champions, all of them, luxury tax. Warriors, Kevin Durant, luxury tax. You have $20 billion that you didn't even do.
You got to think Suns with the luxury tax.
You got to think they are.
They are. The owners.
You didn't even work for this $20 billion. You got it inherited to you. And you're not willing to go... You're not willing to spend... just $40 million.
What was the comparison you made today?
My net worth is $2,000.
I got it. I'll give you guys some math. I'll give you guys some math here. Jody Allen, $20 billion net worth. Third richest NBA owner. $40 million. That's 1/500th of her money. If you had a net worth of $2,000, that's like a teenage net worth, 16, 17, 18-year-old net worth, $2,000. Maybe a little higher or lower, but you get the idea. That's like me, 5 years ago, spending $5 on something. That's how cheap she is. She's not willing to spend a candy bar on making...
Look, I get
a candy bar.
No, I get it.
Snickers.
I get the point. Cody, I get it. I get the fact that she seems to have no passion for this team. And the weirdest part, she doesn't want to sell. I don't really know what's going on in her head. I agree she should sell the team to a passionate owner. Now, as where we are in terms of perspective on the situation, we have no idea why we want to duck the luxury tax so hard, and we don't know why we want to be so frugal. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying there might be reasons that we don't know as to why they're doing this. It could be completely off the floor stuff. That's complete, bullshit. But it's that's just when it comes to owners.
There's no excuse.
I'm not saying
they're so cheap. How can you be that cheap? That's nothing. That's chump change. And this isn't actually for a Snickers bar. This is for your whole legacy of a team that you own.
Let's not act like if you spend money on the team, you're not probably going to get some good return.
I would spend $1,000 myself to make the Blazers better. And to Jody, that's like $1 billion.
I'm regarding Dame. We want to make this team better, but we really wanted to do it with Dame, and I think that's where a lot of people are getting hung up. Look, it's not like he died, okay? He's just going to another team. In fact, this is where I put the optimism bad take. West is going to go into a bad take mode. It might not be a bad take, but this is very optimistic.
You throw enough at the wall, it's going to stick at some point.
Enough shit's thrown at the wall, I think something's going to stick. So, Dame actually liked to tweet on Twitter today. And it was pretty much, and I quote, "You need to do some LeBron-type shit where you go to Miami, win a few rings, and come back home and win one for your hometown, not really hometown team, but your first team." And he was like, "Portland, this is for you." That would be sick.
Yep.
Yeah, basically just to put a bow on the opening part of the podcast here, we're not blaming Dame for any of this. Dame is free to go. In fact, we will be rooting for you. You deserve a chance at a championship. The front office and management has just been atrocious for... quite frankly, the 11 years that Damian Lillard has been a Blazer, which is unfortunate for him because he gave his all for the franchise, and all he asked for was a shot, and people just couldn't get it done for whatever reason.
And this might sound crazy, but And Joe Cronin is making probably the right moves as a just general.
That's why it's hard
GM.
for me to really
I don't
get
think
mad
he is,
at him.
though.
I understand what you're saying. However, I think both paths would have been fine. I'm glad he's not going down the middle. I'm glad we're not going to start this season with those 4 guards.
But
I'm going to back Joe Cronin here. It's just like, why are you saying that your Dame meeting went well then? Because if you think it went well, then you actually might be
narrative
delusional.
building. It's putting out fires in the media. It's having it's the game. I'm not saying it's right, but
Just don't say anything.
Well, you're asking. People are asking for a statement. Look, what he say? What he said was true.
But what did that do for?
We are
what did that do
We
for
are
us?
committed to building around Dame. It didn't do anything for us. It's just Cole. If you want to look, none of us are in the NBA front office circles. We know how that media BS goes. We know people like to say things that are not true but are technically true. It's the same thing how athletes like respond to like questions. They just have a regurgitated thing. I mean, Joe Cronin could use ChatGPT for all we're saying here for his press releases, but every GM does the same thing. I mean, it's like Masai over in Toronto is like OG's worth 3 first-round picks.
It's just,
Does he think he's worth 3 first-round picks, or is he just trying to build value for OG? Because at this point, Dennis Schroeder's starting in Toronto, and they're going to be the 9 seed.
I get your media building, or they're trying to like media, whatever that was called, but
I agree with you in the sense it didn't help the
Blazers.
Blazers.
Of all the things he said, I think that was the worst because
he
it did him no good to even say it went well, because it's not like that just upped Dame's trade value because it's 2 days later it comes out that Dame's requesting a trade.
He's just capping, man.
Speaking of trade value, let's put the franchise hat on.
Can we just rip the Band-Aid and just have the trade happen, man?
Well, let's get into that in a second, but let me just put the franchise hat on. You're trading Dame at a time where his value's high. He was coming off abdominal injuries and surgery and sat out for a while and just had his best season ever.
Okay.
Now, if Miami wants to lowball the shit out of us and it's Tyler Hero and Duncan Jimmy Neutron,
that's the thing.
We got issues.
Let's
jump into packages.
All these trades I see are just Mickey Mouse trades. They're awful trades. They're just draft picks. And like Heat fans, I know our organization is probably the worst organization in the NBA, but we're not like that stupid. Like we're not gonna accept Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and 3 first for the best player of this franchise history in his prime. And
the thing that sucks is I want him to go to the Heat. Of all the teams, I want him to go to the Heat because I think he fits with Jimmy Butler and Bam well.
Sure, I'm just saying he's expensive.
No,
okay?
I know he's expensive, and the reality is I do as much as Joe Cronin says. Joe Cronin says we're going to hold out for a star. This was the funniest thing I saw all day.
I know.
The funniest thing I saw all day.
Yeah.
Joe Cronin said in a statement, or it was like talks around the league are saying Joe Cronin is going to wait to get a star level player in return for Damian Lillard.
Sleepy Joe.
Oh, Sleepy Joe. Why didn't you do that when Damian was here? Start playing when he was here.
We're not talking about Biden here. We're talking about Cronin.
And I that's just a joke, but
wait, did he say star player or just a star level package?
No, he said if they want to get a star level player in return. That's what Woj said.
It sounds like okay.
Again,
and the thing is,
this could be Joe Cronin just doing media business to just basically say, hey, look, basically signaling to Miami, like, quote unquote, we have other offers, wink wink, up your stupid ass offer of
what can Miami up to though? That's the thing. And I
don't know.
I think
that's why I think a third team has to get involved.
Look, the reality is if Dame wants to be in Miami, he's gonna end up in Miami. I think like that's the least you can do for Dame. If you're not gonna build around him, send him to the team you want. And like if we're so confident in building around Shade and Scoot, then it really shouldn't matter what we bring back.
That's not true at all.
But
because they're guards.
You're right.
When you give up a player with this value, like this should be the best package of all time.
Hey, you know who got 5 first-round picks?
Rudy Gobert trade?
Rudy Gobert.
It wasn't 7?
It was 5. Plus like Walker Kessler, which was basically
okay, so Dame's worth at least triple him. I'm sorry, but
he's not getting 15, but that's a lot of
look. This is what we're gonna probably get. I think this is the most ideal trade scenario, and it's the most common one.
Brooklyn,
people say.
Right?
It's obvious if we're looking at the picks wise, it's Brooklyn because you want to get the Suns picks or the Nets picks,
and you really want to get the Suns picks because you know Kevin Durant's not on that team in a year and a half.
Ideally, the Suns, you hope they'll be bad. Even though they still have like Devin Booker, and you have to think they'll stay relevant, but maybe they'll be mid-teens picks. I think the best deal you can get is you send them to Miami, You bring back all the picks Miami can get. You bring back, just to make the money work, like Kyle Lowry. You bring back Hero. You bring back Jaime Jaquez, and then you send Hero to a third team, say the Spurs, and you get one of their young forwards. I think that's the only way I'll accept a solid deal is if we get a couple young non-guards. Because if the centerpiece of the trade is bringing back a guard, while we still have Anthony, we still have Scoot, we still have Shaden, that would just royally piss me off. And that would honestly just be one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
And that's where the national media becomes so obnoxious. Because they don't even...
Talk louder.
You are lying. You are lying. You want me to talk louder?
I don't know. You're mumbling. That's all.
You cannot tell me that the national media stays up and watches Blazer games. They probably couldn't name 10 players on the team.
You can't tell me. You can't tell me if
Can we name 10 players on the team? We obviously can.
But like, I don't know how many Blazer games.
The Blazers are offering that big man from the EuroLeague.
I don't know how many.
I heard he's the next
Blazer games I'm gonna watch this season. I don't know how many I'm gonna watch. Like last year, I watched. I don't know, probably half, maybe a little less. No, maybe more.
It's a bad look for a Blazer podcast, but yeah.
Well, I'm busy in college too.
Like,
and when we were tanking, I didn't watch.
I would check into each game, look at the games, look at the stats, see how people were playing, look at the analytics and all that. But I'm not watching up and down 100 possessions of ass basketball.
I did the first quarter of last season, but it's just. I don't know how it's hard. It's gonna be hard to be motivated as much as I was last year.
It just stinks as a podcast to have
we're all
go through.
Our views are gonna suck ass next year.
Dude, okay, we're all jumbled here.
Please stay with us.
Okay, what are y'all's packages that you want? You mentioned yours. Do you want? Look, let's just be honest. Here, do you want Tyler Hero?
No.
Honestly, the guy I want the most, and this is just because I was a UCLA fan, is Jaime Jaquez.
Look, I'm sorry, but when Miami says we would prefer to keep Caleb Martin out of the deal, shut the hell up.
Like you're getting Damian Lillard.
You're getting Damian Lillard. You can pay up a guy he's gonna be ass anyways. Like, let's not act like Caleb Martin is all of a sudden gonna be this like stud because he played well against Grant Williams.
Also, just funny thing we were talking about earlier today, we were just flying through championship teams, and like every championship team has a top 75 player, and it's just so weird. Just giving up ours in his prime. You got Jokic, 2021. Giannis, 2020, LeBron, 2019, Kawhi, then Durant and Curry the last 3 years, LeBron again.
The key though is and we had a heated debate earlier. It has to be a wing, like a 6'2" guard who doesn't play defense making $60 million a year.
Steph Curry.
He doesn't make $60 million a year, and he's a better defender than Dame, and he's the best shooter that's ever lived, and he plays with another top 5 shooter of all time and a Hall of Fame defensive player at the 4.
Exactly. Get that on the Blazers, bro.
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Well, we have unfortunately, we have a cheap ass owner who's not willing to go in that tax quest, so that won't happen.
We cut Watford, guys.
It's not
we saved $1.8 million.
Yeah, nice.
That just looks so bad now because, like, as much as you can say Watford doesn't play defense or anything, at least he's a young guy that. Either
contributes to losing.
You could,
He contributes to losing.
He contributes to losing. He could be a part of a trade down the line, and he's a good locker room guy.
He's a summer league MVP.
How
you let an MVP go for nothing?
The moves we made this summer have just confused me a lot based on the words we've said and based on the actions we've done. However,
we need to get
the
past
bright
that.
side of this, I do think we have a much better front office to lead us into a rebuild. We have a guy like Mike.
Don't.
Yes, we do.
We do. No, we have a guy like Mike Schmitz that can identify talent. We hope very well.
Jody Allen does nothing with basketball decisions, at least what I know of. All she does is just choke Joe Cronin out of the money he can use to spend. That's all it is. Joe Cronin, he drafted Scoot. I think it's the right play, especially if these other GMs were lowballing the crap out of him. You're not just... It's so hard to say because I'm the biggest Dame fan out of all three.
I'm sorry. When I think of organization, yes, you're right. But I do also think of just the owner.
The owner's a big part.
GM.
I also do think like a good organization typically wins. And...
We don't.
Like,
I mean, I think other than Brooklyn, we're probably the worst organization right now.
Guys,
in terms of public perception, I think that's a realistic. I think public perception we're worse than Brooklyn right now, just because
But it was always going to be that way, regardless.
Well, Brooklyn plays in
we
Brooklyn.
backed ourselves into a corner. If we keep Dame, everyone's mad we're keeping Dame and we're not building around him. Bad organization. We trade him. Oh, you're trading your top 75 player. It's a lose-lose for Joe Cronin. That's why I kind of have a little sympathy for the guy. What I don't have sympathy for is him saying one thing and doing another. What he should have did this whole time. But then again, at the same time, like, you can't just show your hand to everyone and be like, yeah, we're trading Dame this summer.
Well, by also by saying, like, if we're doing like this media tricking thing, by saying you're building around Dame this whole time, you probably lowered the value of the pick. So he should have just shut his mouth the whole time and just stayed behind the scenes. Like,
look,
he's also just not going to get fired anytime soon. Not that I want. Well, we can argue about that, but
okay.
I'm just saying, like,
let's get into some meat, some actual like practical things here. Opinions are good. Do you think that the Spurs could be a landing spot for Dame?
For Dame, no.
I think that Dame is
dead set on Miami.
I think he is. I don't see why he would want to go to the Spurs. I get they have Vic, but who's saying
Greg.
they're a better team than the Blazers would have been?
The Miami Heat's
Again,
kind of
Vic
perfect.
Because they have size, Cole.
Vic is great, and like obviously they would be a good team, but I
They're
know
young, too.
like I don't care if Dame said in the past he doesn't want to go to a team that's going to win a championship. Go if you're going to leave, go win a championship, bro. Like
The Heat.
just go do it. And the Heat, as much as even though they made the finals, like they could have easily got knocked down in the first round if Giannis didn't get hurt. And they're a piece away from a championship. They're not winning a championship with this team. They were never beating Denver. They were lucky to beat Boston. Let's be honest. Like to have Caleb Martin have that good of a series. Sure, I think they would be the favorites next year, but they could easily go down to Boston or Denver or Phoenix or I don't know who else is out there. But I want Dame to end up in Miami because I think or Brooklyn because even though I don't like Brooklyn's organization, I like Brooklyn's players. I would like to see him play with Mikal Bridges. That's why I wanted Mikal Bridges in Portland. I think they would be great together. I think Jimmy Butler, Dame, and Bam are a very likable duo or trio. I don't want to see him in Philly. I would hate to see him with those fans. I don't want to see him in Boston. I honestly just don't want to see him on the Spurs. Like, go out east. Don't be in the West. I don't want to play you a lot.
Yeah. Man, I just thought of this.
Yeah.
The first game, Dame's back in Portland, but he's not playing for the Blazers.
Wow.
That's going to be trippy.
That's going to be a weird. It's just sad.
Dude,
It's
it
sad.
just sucks. No one knows what Dame's last game with the Blazers
our
was.
PA announcer, instead of saying wearing the letter, I was going to be like 6'2"
I
point
bet
guard
he's
number
still gonna say
0,
that.
Damian Lillard. That's crazy.
I mean, Miami. I want him to go to Miami. Miami had the worst offense last year, and they made the finals. You know what
All right,
Dame
here we
does?
go.
Making teams better offensively.
All right. Emotions. Can you give me your emotions? Can you put them in my hand? Put them in my hand?
Sure.
All right. Was this a good move for the franchise?
No.
That's emotional. You didn't put all of them in there.
No,
It's-
I don't
it's
think.
not-
Put all.
I don't
Hey,
think.
I've been-
I'm
I've been
put them all-
stick- I've been
I'm telling you, with my genuine
I've been
belief, I don't
sticking-
think this was a good move for the franchise.
I've been saying the same thing
Because
this whole time.
We named the top 5 players of all time, and none of them made it through their prime. I just
Oh,
when
for
the Blazers, when you had the chance to go all in, even like
okay,
but
you know
the
what?
reality,
This is why it's
the
bad.
reality
This
is, if you went all in, you probably were
that
going to have a better
chance was 5
chance.
years ago.
I get, okay, I
He
understand
had his best
that.
season last season,
I
though.
understand that. How I'm saying
Doesn't matter.
you're probably if you had gone all in this year and mortgaged your future, you probably would have had a better chance at winning a championship like for 1 or 2 seasons than you are going to be with Scoot and Shaden. I know like probability.
I
Like that's
disagree.
probability wise.
I disagree.
How can you put that much faith in a guy
Well,
that's never stepped on a floor?
I agree with that because, like,
Okay, you can say that about anybody. Though.
I know, but
We
I
You
would.
can say that
I,
about Dame. How you know he's not going to get hurt this year?
that's okay. That's
That-
completely
it's-
different.
it's
There's a big
pretty
difference between
similar.
getting proven guys in the NBA.
That's why we're going to suck.
but that's the thing.
That's
Even
the
if
point.
Shaden Sharp
You
and
have to
Scoot
go
Henderson,
for the draft.
if Shaden and Scoot Henderson do become what we want, exceed expectations drastically, it's not going to be at Dame's level ever. And they're also 6'2" guards. So what's the point if you can't do it without a wing anyway?
6'5", Scoot is 6'2".
They're not going to be as good as Dame. So what's the point of redoing it with them? It just doesn't make
Do you
sense.
want Dame and 4 bad players, or do you finally want maybe down the line you luck into the whole point is you're just resetting the timeline. You're now getting draft picks. You guys have said yourself, the Blazers, no one can come to Portland free agency. How do you build? You build through the draft. So let's get as many picks as we can and to get as many chances as we can to get an impact player. Like Wembenyama, no one's going to come like him again, but The point is that you can only build through the draft in Portland.
You can build through trades too.
You could have done anything. You could have done anything from 2014 to now.
You
Any year.
can't.
Give me one All-Star Dame played with other than LA his first 2 years when he was a rookie.
So you're telling
me. Give me one All-Star
so
he
you're
played
telling
with.
me
One.
You'd rather make a bad trade now to keep Dame in Portland and not win a championship because we're not winning a championship.
How do you know that? I mean, it's low.
Bro, you
It's
said
low.
literally 6 months ago you were talking about how you still think Dame's going to win a championship in Portland.
Because I thought he'd stay.
You just said we're not winning a championship with Dame.
I said with going after it, and if he stuck through the rebuild, then maybe.
But you weren't saying then that you thought we were going to.
I would understand.
We were celebrating the third pick because we were thinking we were going to trade the pick, and I don't care if there were no. There's always options
Obviously,
out there.
because
there's always available deals out
Cole,
there.
what was I supposed to believe? Our GM literally lied. What am I supposed to believe? Come on. What am
I would go on your
supposed
point
to be
more.
like, Joe Cronin, I don't believe you. You're a liar and a scumbag. No.
Well,
dude's a new GM. I'm going to give him a shot.
I would understand your point more if our prospect that we drafted was that big wing that we were talking about. That could be a top 75.
Portland can't have nice things.
But he's 6'2", so he's at best he's going to be worse than Dame, and it's just going to be. But that's why I think that's why I think trading game is.
I think you also have to look at the competition in the league right now. Be honest with yourself. Is Dame and another star beating the Nuggets? Are they beating the Lakers? Are they beating the Suns? Are they beating the Bucks?
I think the
Warriors.
The NBA is as wide open as it's ever been. There's no super team.
Yes, they could have beat the Nuggets.
The Suns are a super team.
You just keep talking about the Suns are not going to win a championship.
I didn't say they were, but they're a super
we beat
team.
we beat the Nuggets with Dame and CJ in 2019. That Nuggets team, I know they're different, but they have the same core. 2020, I don't know what happened, but 2021,
I mean,
we barely lost them. We barely lost them with CJ.
Okay,
and
I don't know about
Nurk was fouling out every game because he's a dumbass.
Yeah, I agree.
And in 2022, the Warriors took care of business. Denver just like that, and they didn't change much. Yes, we can always win. Not 2016 Warrior year. We can't win that, but yeah.
Okay.
The Heat, look, 2 playing teams just made the finals. We had the same record as the Lakers last year, and they turned Russell Westbrook and a first-round pick into a very good team.
Teams who were the Lakers and the Heat. What is different about them than us? Their 2 best players actually can defend and are big.
Dude, that's why you trade for a guy. It doesn't matter if it's your best player. It has to be one of your best players. Steph Curry is the best player on the Warriors, and they've got good. You're telling me we couldn't the Warriors? We probably could have been a more talented team than what the Warriors were. Who was on the Warriors in 2022? It was Dame, or not Dame. It was Steph, Clay, Draymond, Wiggins, and Looney. And then a bunch of guys
better than Dame. Clay's better than our 2. Wiggins is better than our 3. Looney is high-key better than Nurk, and Draymond is better than Jeremy Grant in the playoffs. So,
but pure talent wise, I know our construction sucks, but I get what you're saying.
That's the point, Cody. Is roster construction. I want Dame to stay, but I'm just playing devil's advocate. I understand that now instead of tying $60 million to a 6'2" guard who scores 70 points in a game, but can't play defense, he just can't. Okay.
Okay. I'm just gonna bring the Steph.
$60 million. Now your 2 best players are on rookie deals.
What are we gonna use the $60 million for? How are we going to get people on with $60 million? We're not going to sign with a free agency, and we apparently don't make trades.
I think
it's just going to go to Scoot in 3 years, and he's going to have a bunch of money.
Yep.
We just saw LaMelo Ball and Tyrese Halliburton sign for $5,260.
Jody, pay for the luxuries.
And maybe Scoot will be better than them in 3 years, and we'll think that's a great deal. But we'll be paying him $50 million a year, and it's going to be $50 million to Sharp, $50 million to Scoot. If they're at their best level, and you have $100 million to 2 guards, we're going to be in the same scenario.
I think comparing it to Steph is unfair. I think Dame and Steph are too close to say that, Dame with good players can't be a championship team, but Steph with good players can be a championship team. Steph's not a great defender. He's a solid defender. He's a little bit better than Dame. Dame's a little bit of a worse shooter than Steph. They're pretty similar players. And now people are talking about putting Steph in the top 10 of all time.
He is. He has the accolades. But we just said on our Hot Takes podcast sitting here last year that if Dame was in that scenario, their resumes would probably not be that different.
That's probably true.
But
they're not in the scenario. That's the point.
I know you had the assets though. You had the assets.
You could have at least tried to build somewhat close of a scenario, and luck can happen too. A couple of injuries happen in the West, and suddenly we're in the finals.
Dame, Jaylen Brown.
If you're really about it and you should trade Sharp, Scoot, and Simons if you're really about it. But we also are doing all these trades, like trade Scoot for Mikal Bridges, and we're relying on Sharp to be a great player. And if Sharp is going to make this jump that everyone's talking about, then that's another great player on our team.
And maybe these other GMs didn't want to make the deal. I mean, I heard we had a big overpay for Mikal Bridges, and the Nets still said no.
Sometimes you have to overpay.
Well, we did, and they said no.
Do it more. Just keep pushing it, you know?
Dude, so...
I can't believe that the Blazers couldn't get in a really good player. I just can't believe that. I can't believe that because every other team has done it. That's trying to go all in.
You would trade Scoot and
I'm not saying that.
Bridges?
I'm not saying that.
I'm asking you. You would trade Scoot and Shaden for Mikal Bridges and then have Dame and Mikal Bridges appease Dame for 2 years, get the 5 seed, bow out in the first or second round, and then have the
I just don't understand why your opinion's suddenly changing now.
I'm not. I'm just playing devil's advocate because I think
give your true opinion then. Is your opinion devil's advocate?
My true opinion is that I understand why this move was made, and I'm a little bit more lenient and excited about the future than you guys are right now because I just have gotten over it sooner. Because I think that when you're a small market team, you have to build through the draft, and now we at least have more chances to draft that impact forward. Okay? And I think that in terms of roster construction and money, rookie deals are valuable and draft picks are valuable as a small market team. We don't have the luxury of being the Lakers and sucking, and then all of a sudden getting LeBron James and now also having a GM and an owner that wants to spend and sign people. We don't have that luxury. So we have to draft well, and we need to hope that in 3 or 4 years, the next great 3 or 4 comes to port. I mean, that's how we did it with LaMarcus, Greg Oden, and Brandon Roy. If injuries didn't happen, they went 52-10 in 62 games. I can guarantee you that in 2004, they weren't happy about having all these draft picks. Okay?
We made the comparison in 1999. We were a game from the finals. We were 2 minutes from the finals, and if we made the finals, we probably would have won.
And did we win a title?
But that's how we could be.
My entire point is that I think this timeline gives us a better chance in the future. That's all I'm saying. And I think that Joe Cronin saw that, and he didn't want to mortgage the future.
Do you really think that? Do you really think the NBA is going to be more open in 3 years?
I don't know that.
Exactly. You don't know anything. We don't know anything about the future. We know now that we could have done something to put us in the upper echelon, probably a top 7 team, and we just saw this year that the Miami Heat as an 8 seed made the finals. And you're telling me that that you wouldn't think we have a chance to win the finals if we made it?
If we made a move?
Now, but you also just said if Giannis was healthy, they're going out in the first round. So is that just situation?
You need luck.
But that's what I'm saying.
Correct. You need luck. That's why I'm saying get all these draft picks and hope you strike gold on a few of them.
Gold,
you're going to need luck in every scenario, but why not just go ahead and just have the thing that you know that doesn't rely on luck? And that's having a top 75 player of all time.
We need so many things to go right for this young team to compete in 5 years.
I pray that Scoot
I hope you think when Denver drafted Jokic at 41st, they were like,
no, I don't.
Our title.
I don't think that, and that's not what I'm saying.
But that's the big if. What if the Nuggets were just a horrible franchise, horrible management, and dumb, and they gave us Jokic instead of Nurkic?
I know. That's what I'm saying. We need luck to go our way.
I know, but I'm just saying. I think
they didn't give up on Jokic.
I guess the crux of the question, the crux of my argument is, can Dame be the first option on a championship team?
I always believe that. I've always believed that. You've said that. You've said that. We've all said that. Maybe, we can go back on podcasts and say that.
How can you not believe that when this guy's almost as good as Steph Curry? I don't know, man.
I think Dame can be if it's the perfect fit, and that's what the tight line was, and that's why Mikal Bridges and Bam were the short list, because you just require certain players. OG and Jaylen Brown, Dame, Jaylen Brown, OG, Grant, and Nurk with no bench. I mean, is that winning a title? Maybe not. Does it give you a chance? Yes. I think Joe Cronin.
That's all I wanted was a chance. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted.
And all we now want is a chance to draft the next great player.
We had 11 years.
Everything is a chance. Everything's a chance. Both routes are risky. We actually have to identify the talent and have to draft player. Scoot needs to be good. Shaden needs to be good. There's no guarantee that these guys are going to be good. We can go back at the top 3 picks from last year. James Wiseman was supposed to be really good. He sucks. Zion, no one wants to trade for him now. RJ Barrett, top 3 pick. He sucks. There's so many guys that can stink. And again,
I'm going to be honest.
I want Scoot and Shaedon to be really good.
I'll say it right now. If you want the most cynical West on this podcast, it doesn't matter what timeline or what direction we're picking. We're not winning a title on either one. We're not. Look at the Lakers.
That's the reality. So go down swinging with the guy that wants to win the title the most.
Okay, that's fine. I think in terms of just, I don't know, Dame also wants to win. So you got to give him a chance to win. I think Joe Cronin.
Oh, no, I agree. Just try to give him a chance to win in Portland is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm not mad at Dame requesting a trade. I'm mad at both Joe Cronin.
Look at the 76ers. They won 10 games. They were so bad for 6 years.
And they haven't made it out of the second round.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we could do. We could be bad for the next 3 years.
But we're not winning a title with Dame.
I want to compare it to the Nuggets a little bit. Obviously, Dame was a way higher prospect draft pick than Nikola Jokic, but the Nuggets didn't give up. They kept slowly building on it. They got bailed out so many times. There were talks that Jokic was going to go somewhere else, that the Denver organization wasn't giving him help, and they just kept working, kept grinding, didn't give up on their guy just like that. I know Jokic is still younger than Dame at this point, and I'm not saying they got lucky, but things went right for them this year, and they won a championship. That's what we should have done.
If Michael Porter Jr. didn't have injury concerns coming into the draft, Denver would not have gotten him, and he played a vital role.
And I can't say we never had a chance when we are signing Carmelo Anthony and forcing him to play 30 minutes a game. That's just not a chance.
But the other thing is that, you can say that Dame is similar to Jokic, but it's really not, because 7 feet in size and passing. I'm just saying.
Before Jokic, though, there was an argument that you can't win a championship with a center as your best player. Because when was the last time that was the case?
Tim Duncan with David Robinson, probably.
That's 1999.
Wow.
Sure, I guess it comes around every 20 years, but we had the most assets we've probably ever had.
That's an interesting statement. The most assets. I mean, clearly we didn't, or clearly we
Yes, we did. You're contradicting yourself because you're saying Joe Cronin always wanted to go young. So maybe Joe Cronin never actually truly wanted to make an offer for people.
I'm contradicting myself because a week ago with the news, we all listen to news via the same medium from Joe Cronin's mouth. He said one thing, I believed it. Now that his action is to trade Dame, I'm going to be on a different mindset now. I mean, what? And what am I supposed to do? Joe Cronin be like, yeah, we're committed to building around Dame. Yep, he wants to go young. Of course I'm not going to believe that. I'm going to believe the guy.
Why are you now? How can you have his back?
I never said.
How can you agree with what he's doing? That's what you are. That's basically what you're saying by saying.
I'm just trying to get y'all to realize that I don't think we could have won a title with Dame regardless. So him asking out,
I don't think
good for the team.
And I don't think we had a higher chance of winning a title by rebuilding.
You know what? That's a fair statement because you can't quantify that chance. So that's a stupid argument in the first place because you can't say it's a 30% chance with Dame, a 25% chance without. You just want to win a title with Dame, and I want to win a title with Dame because we love Dame to the core. He's our childhood. He is the Blazers, okay? I honestly couldn't tell you a game. I think we're young enough to where, the pre-Dame era, I vaguely remember, going to a game when it was Brandon Roy's team. Vaguely. So, of course, we're emotional towards Dame. But, what if it was, James Harden instead of Dame? When we don't like James Harden. He's a top 75 player of all time. He doesn't play defense. He's an elite offensive player.
Yeah, well, James Harden almost won a championship. He was a game 7 away from the finals in 2017, about to knock off the 2016 Warriors.
You're right.
Because things went right.
The Blazers
choked, but that's all.
Yes, so. The Blazers need to jack 53. But that's not the point. The point is that James Harden didn't win a title. Okay, if the goal is to win a title, Joe Cronin just wanted to start fresh, okay?
Right now,
he wanted to do that. He lied through his teeth. I'm not defending the guy. I don't like what he did. I think you can't judge him for it yet, though. That's my point. I'm defending him from people who are judging him right now. Judge him in 3 or 4 years. If Scoot's a bust, if Shaedon doesn't turn into the person or the player he's supposed to be, and we draft poorly, by all means, go ahead to Joe Cronin and be like, 2023, what if?
That's the thing. Let's say he does not become a bust. Let's say he does go into what we want. It's just not going to be better than Dame. You had a top 75 player, and you had assets. Instead of selling them and helping them, you blow it up.
I'm not saying, and
now was the worst time to blow it up.
We've all made. I don't think that's true. I think we've all made our jokes about the 4-guard, 3-guard lineup, but what if the Blazers, as a sum of their parts, is better than a Dame-led team in 5 years? You just don't know that. But then again, look at the Rockets. Rockets have been rebuilding, and they just fired all their bullets for some mid players because they had cap space. Okay? I'm not saying this is going to be easy. I'm just saying I understand why they want to start fresh. And it's also maybe Joe Cronin just...
Sure, understand. I
can
agree
understand,
with it?
but
No.
I can understand, but I don't agree with it. If
That's
I was
fine.
in his position,
and I'm not saying I
would
agree
do
with it
differently.
either. I'm just telling, basically, throughout this discussion, you just can't make a final judgment on Joe Cronin's decision making yet.
You're
because
right.
his legacy, I think his job is going to be tied to Scoot, because this is who he went in on. Scoot is his guy.
I'm not
It
gonna.
sucks to say.
And I'm not gonna, like, again, like, we're gonna keep saying this. We love Scoot. We love Shaden. We are going to support the team no matter who is on the team.
Obviously, yes.
We just,
But just
we would've gone a different route.
But like we were doing this with the CJ deal. Like CJ turned into Josh Hart. Josh Hart turned into a pick. The pick turned into Chris Murray. We also got Jeremy Grant from the deal. Like this Dame haul, and look, Joe Cronin, the whatever you say, I don't even know what I'm lost for words. You're the what's the word for it?
I don't know what you're trying to say.
I'm trying like the judgment's still out there pretty much. Like,
Yeah, I'm not gonna
for this package.
I can't just hate on Joe right now, but any sound that comes out of that man's body, I don't believe it.
I am coping by
I don't
saying
believe
the
it.
future could be better, but I think I understand.
That is a
little
good point.
more.
I guess, like,
I don't care
you
what he
can't-
says.
I guess you can't
It's-
believe any GM, because I guess every GM, like, does this GM talk, but you just, like, Joe Cronin, practically every time he speaks, like, you just can't believe him. You
You've
can't.
lied 4 times in a row, bro. Like, I just can't.
Dude, like, oh my God, how do you do that to us and say the Dame meeting went well?
Yeah, look,
How do you do that to us?
Joe
Like,
Cronin's lingo
you,
is
your job's to build a team, but your job's also to appease the people that fund you the money, and that's the people that pay for tickets and pay you for your organization.
Moda is having no capacity next year. I'm sorry. I'd be surprised if we sold 60% of our seats.
here's the sad thing, Cody. I'm gonna push back on that a little bit. There's more people that are Blazer fans that were for Dame getting traded than you think.
No,
I'm not saying that's a good thing.
No,
But
I know.
I agree.
now,
but I also think,
I think people are now.
I just go by my basketball knowledge.
There's a
and how
certain
I agree.
Look, are the Blazers going to be worse in the next 2 to 3 years than they would be with Dame? Absolutely. Is it going to suck that Dame's on a different team? Absolutely. But I think, I don't know. I just feel like it. I just understand. I don't agree with it. I love Dame, but I see why people believe it ran its course. I think Joe not trading the number 3 pick is the last hurrah. It's the last hurrah, and I think people are excited for something new. Scoot and Shaden. It's young. It's gonna have growing pains, but at least you. I don't know, dude.
I think
sucks.
running its course is, like, I know what you're trying to say. Like, it was time to move on.
Course,
But normally
not
you-
one All-Star, by the way.
Normally you say,
like,
like, oh, it's run its course when you did everything in your power to make it work.
we
like,
did jack shit.
We
Okay,
didn't
We didn't
I
do anything.
don't-
said-
okay,
we
hold
said
on, you're
CJ
right. That's not true, and that's not true. We did more than jack shit. And I agree. I agree. We did it. We didn't do everything in our power, but that's not true. We did not do jack shit.
What
I
did we
think-
do?
What did we do?
He tried. I
Who
thought
tried?
he tried.
Who did?
He literally said we wanted Mikal Bridges.
Dude, we said take a swing. We won't be mad if it doesn't work.
That's
That's
us
trying.
talking. That's us
That's
talking.
trying.
Guess
Trying
what?
is
Guess
actually
what?
doing it.
We don't fund him. Jody Allen does. Okay? What we want, Joe Cronin doesn't care about. Okay?
I'm just gonna lump everyone together. I'm mad at the Blazers organization. Okay, Joe Cronin falls under that. Mike Schmitz falls under that. Everyone falls under that, because that's just, like, sure, we can pick out every individual person and give the blame to each individual person as much as they do, but, like, we're obviously more informed Blazer
Funny
fans than
thing is,
most people.
Dame's coming back in 5 years anyway. Once his albatross contract is up.
That'd be great. It's just I can't say that we tried. I can't.
Yeah, me neither.
I can't say that without feeling that doubt of lie in the back of my mind. I can't.
Yes, you can 100% get mad at the.
God, no All Stars.
0 All-Star. Like, I think that's the end of argument. Like, how 0 All-Stars, dude.
How can you say
Okay,
that?
How many
example,
times-
How can you
example,
say that
example.
Dame
Okay,
ran its course when you didn't
so
even
there were
like, give
reports.
him a course to run on?
So there were. Okay, that's funny. So there were reports. Number 3 pick for Paul George straight up.
There were reports that said Dame was staying. I can't believe every report I see.
That's fine, but like, I don't know, dude. It's just difficult for me to mortgage the future by severely overpaying for an asset that's going to make the team better but not guarantee anything. Yes, the other side does not guarantee anything either, but at least you have hope sooner.
I don't know.
At least the health of the organization is there. Instead of selling the next 5 years to try to win now and you don't win, when in reality you probably weren't going to win in the first
But
place.
why not? Why not just turn into? Why not?
You got to let it go.
Why not turn this whole mantra of Portland around? Like, why not do it when Milwaukee's done?
So, like, we'll let it go.
so
We'll
now-
move on.
Free agents want to go to Milwaukee now. Milwaukee was worse than Portland 3 years ago, or like 5 years ago, when it came to probably signing free
And then
agents.
they drafted a guy who became the MVP. Dame's never gotten really close to winning an MVP. They also have Chris Middleton, and they went for Drew Holiday. You're right. They went for it with Drew Holiday. They saw the window. Like I said, I think the window for us was 2016, 2017. That was the window, like truly the window. Because 2019 we went, and imagine we had a third player on that team. I think we could have gotten by the Warriors because that was our injury luck. That was our path. And we could have beaten Toronto in those finals.
I agree. I'm mad. I'm more mad at Neil than Joe, but I'm not. I'm still mad at Joe. I'm not happy with Joe at all.
Look,
I'm
no
pissed
one
at
gets a
him.
pass because you're letting a top 75 player of all time go who had repeatedly professed his loyalty to the city. Like, that's about as free as it gets. Like, such an easy job. Just literally trade for one good guy. You make him happy. Does that make the franchise better in the long run?
Look, in
No.
5 days when Summer League starts, we're going to be sitting here doing Summer League recaps. We're going to be hyped because Scoot's throwing lobs to Shaden, and we're going to be talking about how exciting our future is. Because our future is exciting. I can say that, and I can recognize that. I don't
sucks.
I don't have faith that we're like gonna.
That's fair because since Dame was drafted, and quite frankly, probably since Dame was drafted, our front office has not given us any reason to believe that they will do something.
It happened. We
But
just
I don't
have to
think.
move forward.
I think Joe Cronin's tenure and how he will be truly remembered started today. He traded Dame. Now, he got dealt the worst hand you could get, and he knew that this was a possibility. He didn't want to tell us. That's on him. We can get mad at him for that. He always knew his reputation was going to start in the negatives, and now, from here on out, this is where his legacy is going to be. Because if he's the guy, he could look like a genius if we win a title.
I still hope he still does something. I hope he doesn't just keep on like be a little proactive. Don't just keep doing the bare minimum. Like only just. By the way, the only reason we have Scoot and Shaden is because of like bad GMing in the first place. Because we weren't good enough to even we had to shut these guys down. Like we could have tried to do what the Lakers did.
But that's why I think as soon as Joe got hired, this was the iceberg.
Dude, just fucking say it, dude.
I'm not
Or
defending that.
I have the moves
I'm not
align with that at
defending
least.
Look, it's fair. It's fair to say.
Okay,
that
why are we
want
cutting
to.
Watford? Why are we cutting a young guy? Why are we cutting a young big? Right now, like who? First off, who is going to be on our roster this year? We still haven't made a free agency signing.
This organization
That's
sucks.
the point. We're going to be bad. We're going to be bad.
Should we just turn our podcast name to Lockdown Heat next year? Can support Dame. Just kidding.
Nothing but Nuggets.
Nothing but Nuggets.
Talking Timberwolves.
Talking Timberwolves. What about
What you said? You said Mocking Mavericks.
Morning with the Mavs?
Oh man, look.
Spitting Spurs.
Spitting with the Spurs.
Rip City Rundown. Yep. Are we gonna get any video?
Chatting with the Cavs.
Are we gonna get any video over 1,000 views next year? Yeah, probably not. That's a joke.
Bro, that's a joke. Guys,
yeah.
here's what's fun though.
Dame also just sucks for our channel.
Here's what sucks. Here's what's fun. The sucky part is Dame's no longer in Portland, obviously. The fun part, we now, like officially, this is the first time we are actually going to, like this, we're going to grow with this team.
Oh yeah,
Our channel's going to grow with this team. We're still going to be Dame guys. You will see us. We might start dabbling if he goes to the Heat. We'll mention the Heat in the podcast every now and then. Lillard holds a special place in our heart. He's deserved of that.
I'll ask this on the pod. What are we going to do with the intro? I think we keep the moments. We keep the Damian Lillard. You've done it again. We keep blocked by McCollum. But who's going to be the new guy at the end of the podcast? It ends with Damian Lillard flexing. After
I think we got to wait for.
You know what's ironic about that? It's Damian Lillard flexing when we lost when he scored 55. That's kind of just like sums up our organization in a way.
That's true.
But like, is it going to be Scoot putting on his hat? Is it going to be
it's got to be Scoot.
Summer League highlights of Ryan Rupert?
We'll get our clip for our new intro when Scoot does a cool highlight or something in the Summer League probably.
Hey, the Blazers are going to be, I think, we're going to be terrible next year, but we're going to be a fun team to watch at least. Like, at least now you have a reason to tune in because last year Dame just sat. Like, this dude is, do you really want to make this guy, like, sit the second half of the season every time?
Let's be honest, guys. Are we really going to be watching Blazer basketball in March next year?
I'd say in March.
Well, we had a reason to watch the first 3 months because we were pretty good.
But it's going to be so weird because I think this is the first year where we genuinely like are not expecting to make the playoffs. It's going to be weird because the goal, like the underlying goal for this team is going to be to continue to accumulate draft assets, but we're going to be rooting for them every night. It's going to be weird.
Yeah,
we were very blessed as, honestly, this run from the franchise is probably up there. I mean, probably the 90s were better, like late 80s, early 90s. Way better. I'm just saying like longevity-wise of making the playoffs. Ever since we started being a fan of this team, we made the playoffs every year.
No,
we took the playoffs for granted. We took it for granted.
I know you're trying to make it.
We had the second maybe it was the longest at one point for 1 year. It was the longest streak in the Western Conference once the Spurs got bad.
But first round, so there's exit. So there's one word that we call that whole.
Would you rather tank next year or be a first round exit?
Well, obviously tank.
The thing is, I don't.
But you don't go into the year anticipating that. Look, I know you're trying to give the positive vibes, but I think we can all agree that this organization has sucked big ass in the last 10 years. I'm sorry. It's just straight up. Don't deny it. Okay, I know. I am excited for the future, but this organization has sucked the last 10 years.
That's a tough thing to say. We went to the playoffs 7-8 straight years.
They've sucked.
Look, we didn't pull the trigger on the CJ move. It's not when we needed to.
We didn't do so many things,
dude, bro. Dame wanted to play with Bam. We could have just drafted him instead of Zach Collins, okay?
Insane.
All right, so
many
look.
things we could have done.
Look, we'll move forward from here.
We're going to move forward, okay? We're going to move forward. I'm excited for the future. I'm also excited for Dame. Honestly, there's a small part of me that just is glad this is just over. Because I was tired of every morning like waking up and being like, man, is Dame going to get traded today? Like, when is he going to ask out? Is he not? Like, it's just like a soap opera. So it sucks that this is the ending, but at least it's over. And at least we can fully focus now on something.
No.
I wish it was Dame.
I wish I was positive. But Joe Cronin and Neil Olshey, you are still my enemy. And I'm going to stand by that for now, at least.
Joe Cronin, you are an enemy, and I... See, Neil Olshey, I put the scope in.
Neil Olshey, Jody Allen are like... I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. Are enemies. Joe Cronin is also an enemy. Not as bad. But I'm like... If I see Joe Cronin in public, I honestly don't even know if I would want to go shake his hand.
Is there anything else that we want to discuss, or should we let this breathe some more? Because I said I wasn't going to get heated. Good passionate discussion. I'm glad we talked about that because it's literally going to be the defining debate of the next 3 years.
Guys, there's going to be emotion in this. Again, like I said, we're gonna be still excited for the team, and you can you please respect us having emotion without just dropping a whole 5-paragraph essay like that one person did.
Yeah, I mean, look.
If you want to,
we're all passionate. We're all passionate, and if you're on team, we should have kept Dame, or if you're on team, I like the fact that we trade Dame. You guys, both sides are wrong, and both sides are right. We're too early in this to know if it's going to be the right answer or not. And yeah, so now, but for the people who were team keep Dame, sorry, that ship sailed. So you either got to get on board of the Scoot and Shaden train,
or become a Heat fan,
or you just, and again. If you're a true fan of this team, you're going to go for Scoot and Shaden. So, like, it's inevitable. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's the right, but it's inevitable.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all I got.
That's all we got, guys. Anything else, Cole?
I was going to say something, but I'll hold on to that.
Oh.
You going
to hold on to it? Are you going to lie to the people like Joe did to us?
No, I'm telling them I'm holding on to it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. I was gonna. Yeah. I'm not gonna. I don't want to lie. But that's all we got. I mean, subscribe if you like the Blazers. If you're excited for this. I mean, subscribe no matter what if
Look,
you're watching. But I
it's
don't
a journey.
have faith that you guys are going to be here next year. That's what I was gonna say. Just please stay.
Please don't unsubscribe.
We will try to bring the best content we can still, no matter who's
We
playing
are
for the
going to.
Blazers.
Hey,
But
and
it's
this
going
is
to be.
it's a chance.
We saw our views dwindle last year when the Blazers started sucking, and it's going to be like that the whole year. So
And the next year. After
maybe
that.
with
and
the
the year
ex-
after that.
yeah,
And the year after that.
Well-
and also the year.
I can't wait in 3 years. I can't wait in 6 years. We're going to be talking about how we still have too many guards on the roster.
We're
But
all gonna have children before. Yeah.
Hey, it's gonna
Make
make
the
that.
playoffs
It's
again.
gonna make that title one day that much sweeter, though.
We're never
2070. Let's go.
2070.
It's better than no
I'm
title.
on my last breath.
It's all about the journey, people.
all right, let's get. Final thing we'll say is, I think literally every time we ask this question on the podcast, however long we've been doing it, we've said yes, and maybe it still changes. Do you think the Blazers win a title in the next 10 years?
Am I betting with money or with my heart?
Okay, if I'm betting with money, no. But I still think this is the best path. It's gonna give you the best chance. But I'm gonna say no because you need so much to go right. So I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna give an actual good take for once.
I'm gonna say no, but I hope so, man.
I'm gonna say no as well.
So that means we are because we never get our takes right.
That's true.
Hope and pray.
Play chess.
What if we make the playoffs next year? Wouldn't that be
That'd
actually not good? That would not be
That'd
good.
just be hilarious.
We actually need to lose
See,
next year.
it's a win-win next year. You either lose and it's good for the franchise. You go to the playoffs and it's good for us. You could. Hey, it's glass half full, people. All right. Well,
And this-
if you're watching this
And this crap, I'm pissed off.
and you're just subscribe, like,
Peace.
comment, and it's gonna be a journey. But we hope you guys are there with us and we grow with this team together. So stick around, listen to us talk. We keep on engage with you, do different things. We love you guys. So just Cody, you want to say something to the mic?
Jody Allen, you suck. All right, bye, guys.
Bye.
Fuck.